In this DIY from a retired guy, I'm finishing 2 hall closets, replacing the wire shelving with oak wood shelving. So my prior video showed prepping the closet. This is finishing off and installing the final shelving. I like the oak shelves, way tougher than pine. 3/4 inch oak is, old screws better, a lot more, is not going to bow or warp. So yeah, that's my go-to design right there. Okay, so before I do any painting, I like to find the studs first because I don't want to mark up the freshly painted walls finding the studs. So once I find them, then I'll map them on my my sketch that I'm doing for the shelving. So this will be the studs where I'm going to screw in the furring strips, the 2x4 furring strips that the shelf is going to sit on. So what I like to do is take my headlamp, and I just have an old-fashioned magnet. I've had all kinds of stud finders over the years, and this is the only one that I've been able to keep track of. So this is the one I use. What I normally do is turn the lights out, take my headlamp. Usually you can see a nail hole sticking out. Looks like there's one right here. Yeah. So that's, and then my bottom of my shelf is going to be here, 69 inches. That's what this mark is, and my 69-inch mark here. So I'm going to look for one in the general vicinity. So here's one coming down. There should be one in line there. So right there is where my stud is. So I'll mark that. This stud finder has a little V in it, so you just put a V mark, and this is where my stud is. So I'll measure that over, and then the next one should be 16 inches. Once you find one, then the next one should be 16 inches over. Like I said, I'm not a carpenter, but I know studs are on 16-inch centers. And here's a stud that's not even near 16 inches. So, like I said, sometimes you find them right on 16-inch, sometimes you don't. So this one that I just found is right about here. There's one right there. There's one right here. This wall will be my datum point. So I got 2 studs for my cross member furring strip, and then on the sides I'll do the same thing on both sides. As usual, the studs normally don't make a lot of sense, but my left side stud is here. So from the back wall, this one's 12 and 3/4 on this side, and the opposite side it's 13 3/8. And my stud marks are going to be painted over, so I'm going to make sure I document them on my design. All right, so I've got my design complete. I'm doing 2 closets. I've got a mudroom closet, hall closet. The difference in the two, the back walls are the same, but the depth is different. So my mudroom closet is 22 inches to the back wall, or 22 and 3/4, but 22 to the molding. Usable space 22. And then my hall closet is 29 and 3/8. So I'm going to go with a 17-inch shelf in the hall closet, the deeper closet, and then it'll be a 12-inch 12-inch board is actually 11.5 inches, so it'll be 11.5 inch shelf in the mudroom closet. And then I've got my studs where the studs are laid out. So the red are my mudroom closet stud positions from this left side datum, and my hall closet are the blue numbers where my studs are. And then on the side wall, the 22-inch. So there's a 22-inch run here with no stud behind it. So it's, I'm assuming, just anchored in the corners. But I didn't see any evidence of any stud along there. And then the hall closet, the deeper closet, it's got a stud at 13 and 3/8 inch, and then another one at 12 and 3/4 inch. So yeah, now I'm ready to, I know my shelves are gonna be 69 inches. Bottom of the shelf's gonna be 69 inches off the ground. That accounts for any long trench coats, long dresses. It'll still put it like 4 inches off the ground. So now I'm ready to paint it, and then I can go, all my saw equipment is in a little shed, detached shed, so I'll be able to go to the shed with all these measurements without tramping back in and out of the house to get these measurements. So I'll be able to cut all my lumber one shot, and then come in and hopefully run the mounting screws in and hit the studs first shot. I'll paint it and ready to install the shelf. Again, I'm doing 2 closets. I'm doing a hall closet and a mudroom closet. This is the shallower closet. There's no studs on the side walls, so I'm gonna attach into the corners, front and back, with my side support rail. Okay, so I want the bottom of my shelf to be 69 inches off the ground. So put my hanging bar at the right height for a long coat. So that'll be the top of my 2x4 furring strip. So I got 3 marks at 69. I never trust anything to be square. I don't know if this floor is square, so you know, the 69 is not super imperative, but so I'll take these 2 marks, kind of split the difference between them. To get a level line, I'm not right on my mark, so the floor definitely isn't perfectly level. And then I'm going to get on the line to the right side and then level, and then strike my line. Then I like to fit my furring strip in just to make sure I choose the best side out. There's a little gap here, so either the wall's bowed or this piece is bowed, but I want the concave side in when I screw this down. So this is the side I want out, and then I'm going to cut to 3/4 inch notches for my side 1x2 side support. So I'm going to cut a notch here on both sides. For my diagram I did before I paint it, the measurements that I recorded, my studs are 10 and 3/8 and 22 and 3/8 from this wall. So 10 and 3/8, 22 and 3/8. And again, these are the where I found the nails that were in the stud. So it doesn't guarantee the nail was centered on the stud. So I will verify that with a small drill to make sure I hit a stud behind there. And then I'm also marking my board. I measured 10 and 3/8 on my strip that I'm gonna put up in 22 and 3/8. So I want to line those lines. There's a little bit of slop in this board side to side. So you want to line up the marks on the board with the marks on the wall. Alright, so now I'm going to just verify before I stick anything down. So I take the smallest drill bit I have in my toolbox. This one is 62 thousandths, so that's a 1/16 of an inch drill bit, and I use this to find it, make sure, verify that the stud is there. And you can feel it just slightly go through. Stud. Stud. Real simple. You feel it. If there was no stud there, it would have just walked right through the wall. All right, so I'm ready to attach my back furring strip. I mark where the studs are, start at the screws, and then I'll use a level to level it. These screws are overkill, but I highly recommend there's a lot of torque, so use the Torx end. The normal Phillips head will strip. It's not enough. You don't get enough bite. These Torx ends are what you need, and it comes with a bit in the box. Comes with the Torx bit for it in the box. And these are way overkill. I had them for another project. Certainly don't need 4 inches. 3 inches will be fine, but they're number 10, and I pre-drilled an 1/8 inch hole in my board, and these screws are about 3/16. Number 10 equates to about 3/16 of an inch. So yeah, it's a lot of torque going in there. So I'll start one screw, get it on my 69 inch line. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'll get one screw halfway in. A lot of torque. And then level it to do the next screw. So yeah, that was, as you can see, it's every bit of muscle I have to get these things in here. But again, this is a 4 inch screw. You don't need 4 inches. 2x4 is 1.5 inches. The wall, I think the drywall is 1/2 inch, so that's 2 inches. 3 inches will be fine. All right, there it is. Then the same process, layout for the side pieces. 12 of my pre-measured stud locations, 12 3/4 inch on this side, and that's from the back wall. It's 12 3/4. And the other wall is 13 3/8. 13 3/8. And I'll mark the same location on my boards that are going in and pre-drill the screw. All right, I'm gonna do my stud verification again on the sides. Stud. Stud. That's good. Okay, on the side pieces, this is oak. Again, I had some in my shop. Pine would have been fine for this, but I had this 1x2 oak. So using it up, when I do a project, I have leftover material. I like to use it up because I end up forgetting I have it and going out and buying, you know, the exact same thing a couple of years later. Same with fasteners. These are fasteners I had in my shop, and they are trim screws, number 6. I drilled with this oak. You want to get the hole close to the size of the screw, so I used an 1/8 inch drill bit, and these screws are number 6 is about 140 thousandths diameter, 139 thousandths. So I'm about 15 thousandths bigger on the screw than the hole. The trick is not splitting this wood because it splits easy. So I did countersink with this pine. This is pine. I mean, you just ram. It'll take much bigger screws. The pilot hole doesn't need to be that much. It can be a lot smaller than the screw, and then it doesn't split. It's so soft. It just, you can sink those holes in no problem. This, I'm going to be real careful. In fact, I may leave the head sticking up a little bit, but I did countersink, and I'll probably leave it as soon as I feel it seat. I'm going to stop because I don't want to split this wood. So I know my stud's there. It's level, and I'm flush with my notch in the back, so I'm sitting in my notch on the back side. Hopefully this level won't fall off. Didn't split, it's good. Nice and level. Nice and level here, so it's flush. It's flush with the top of this. You don't want to stick it up, or the shelf will. In fact, if anything, you want it sitting below this surface, so the shelf, you know, sits flat up on top. I've got it basically flush. So let's see if I get this other screw without splitting it. Right there. So there it is. I'll do the other side the same way. You know, make sure you get it level to your back piece. And then I may stick a screw in the side. Doesn't really need it, but that's not going anywhere. I'll probably just leave it like it is. All right, there it is. Both side pieces in. All right, shelf is a good fit. I'm a little short on this side. I don't know what exactly happened there, but the intent was to have it flush like this. But yeah, that's fine. And then the shelf is 15 and a half inches deep. I had some actually exactly 12-inch 3/4 inch oak lumber, and I went and bought a 4-inch wide, which is actually 3.5 inches. So 15 and a half inches wide on the shelf. And I really wanted to go 17, but I was just getting too tight here with getting stuff too tight to the molding. So yeah, I'm pleased with this. Now it's just the finishing work. Paint the wood, prime and paint the wood, and then screw the top down, hang the shelf, hang the bar for the hanging clothes. That'll be a foot off this back wall, so that'll be, you know, in here somewhere. So it's coming together nice. So the last step in the shelf installation is to put the bar on, the hanging bar. So these are my brackets. Last time I did this, I did it with the shelf in place, but I'm going to attempt to do this with the shelf off. So I know my furring strip where this is going to sit is 3/4 of an inch, so I've spaced this in 3/4 of an inch. The sides of my boards aren't square because my closet isn't square. So these are cut to fit the closet. So I'm going to set the bracket square with the front of my shelf because that should sit square. So I'm 3/4 of an inch off the edge because that edge will be sitting up on the furring strip. And then I'm going to drill a 600 thousandths blind hole, 600 thousandths deep, a 1/4 inch, for a 1/4 inch lag bolt. I'm going to drill a 3/16 diameter hole and then attach these with this 1/2 inch lag bolt. So the thickness of my holder is about a 1/4 inch. This is an inch, so it'll sit 750 thousandths deep. Should be enough that it's not going to break out with that 1/4 inch. With that 1/4 inch base on the holder. Wow, it's super close. It's right at the edge of breaking out. But I did this before, and my other shelf it didn't break out, so I'm confident that this one's not going to break out again. So I've got two holes marked, and I'm going to drill a 600 thousandths deep blind hole for my lag. I'm just taking a 2-inch block, drilled a 3/16 hole through it. This will stop my drill bit from going in. When I chuck this up all the way bottomed out, this sticks out of my drill 2 inches, 600 thousandths. So if I use that 2-inch block, I'll get a 600 thousandths deep hole. So I'm going to start with a pilot hole, just smaller. It's smaller than 3/16. I don't know what size it is, but I just got to make sure I don't go. I just want a little depth so I can find the hole with my block. And this is the 3/16. And that's 600 thousandths sticking out of the 2-inch block. So this should not break through. I guess if it does, the tip of this lag bolt does break through. It's not the end of the world. I don't think anybody will ever see it. Okay, my 1/4 inch lag bolts. The thing that would upset me the most is if this board split on this edge. So I'm going slow and easy. All right, there it is. Did it break through the other side? Nope. So we're good, didn't break through. And then my hanging bar, I'll cut, after I install the other one, I'll cut the size. But this is, and there's a set screw in there that holds that bar. So this will be my hanging bar. So once I get this installed, I'll measure the size and cut it to size. Okay, now I'm gonna cut my hanging bar to size. I'm cutting it on the driveway just because I don't want all these metal shavings flying around, getting on my baby, which is my motorcycle. Got my safety glasses on. I'm using a cutoff wheel just because you can cut this with a hacksaw. It's pretty soft metal. I just don't have good sharp hacksaw blades, so I'm doing it this way. And it just so happens I need 2 3-foot sections, and this is a 6-foot section I got from Lowe, so it'll work out perfect. Okay, the bar's cut. Lock it down a little set screws. And it's ready to go. This stuff is Steel Tek. This is the bar. It's a 3/4 inch, 6-foot bar. And then the fasteners, Steel Tek also from Lowe's, 3/4 inch. I think these are $7 a piece, and you need 2 for each shelf. Last thing I have to do is screw the shelves down. I'll just stick maybe 2 or 3 screws along the back into that 2x4 furring strip. This is the mudroom that had no stud on the side, so I screwed into the stud that's in the corner, and then into the notch in the back. So mudroom's done. Okay, here's the hall closet finished. The bar, as mentioned earlier, the bar is a foot off the back wall to clear, to give enough clearance for the hanging stuff. And yeah, that's it. Not good. A couple screws in the back, and that's all I'm going to do to secure it down. So yeah, good to go. And until next one.